Coquette. The shooter's going to be in Coquette.
From chaos today to calm tonight, shock and sadness still surround what happened in North Hills.
Just pray that all the victims are okay, and that's about it, mentally and physically.
There's a bullet still lodged in my hand here. It wasn't grave enough to have it surgically removed today.
All new tonight, we talk with friends and co-workers of the victims. Plus, new details about why people who knew the suspect are stunned.
And roughly 12 hours ago, life changed for 3 families after a gunman opened fire inside a North Hills restaurant. Tonight, we just confirmed from friends that this is a photograph of the man who died. This is Jonathan Schaefer. Schaefer just started working at Coquette restaurant a few weeks ago. And this is the man witnesses say is responsible, George Colomb, the head chef at Coquette, now accused of shooting Schaefer and another server before turning the gun on himself. Right now, Colomb remains in critical condition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Gerald Owens. WRL was on the air moments after officers were dispatched and hours after the call went out. Our team coverage of this still developing story continues tonight as we try to get a better picture of exactly who was involved. WRL's Carly Haynes joins us live from North Hills. Carly, this massive response today put a major commercial area and the surrounding community on lockdown, but it's important to remember a man lost his life today. You're learning more about the victim, who friends are saying was a good guy with a bright future.
Yes, they shared some stories about him, and we also found Schaefer's resume online. It showed that he worked at restaurants around the area for a few years. He came from a culinary arts program out of Wake Tech. And as you mentioned, employees and friends say he had only been working at Coquette for a few weeks. This morning, Jonathan Schaefer walked into his job at Coquette. Shortly after, he was carried out.
He seemed like a very easygoing dude. Loved to tell a lot of bad jokes, and that's where I think I really kind of hit it off with him.
Restaurant workers will remember the 26-year-old for his kindness.
Seemed like, he was just there to work. That's all it seemed like.
Schaefer's resume shows he was a committed employee with several years in the hospitality industry. That's why employees find it tragic and confusing. They saw Coquette's head chef, George Colomb, point a gun at Schaefer and shoot.
There's a bullet still lodged in my hand here. Penetrated me right here.
WRAL caught Jonathan Aguilar leaving the hospital, an employee and survivor. He said staff had just wrapped a routine meeting. They were minutes from opening.
It's just like pew, 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 and I just ducked. It feels like a dream, honestly. I don't feel like I've experienced it, but I have.
Coquette and its people described as tight-knit, a family, and now mourning together.
I can't get it out of my head, the people that were sitting right there, just to see it all go down the way it did. And just the mental anguish that they're going to be going through.
And it is still unclear what the motive is. These employees say they have no idea what would have allegedly made Colomb snap. Carly Haynes, WRL News, live in Raleigh.
And our team coverage continues with Aaron Thomas diving deeper into the profile of the suspected shooter, George Colomb. Aaron, former employees at Coquette are stunned tonight.
Yeah, you said it best. And then just behind us, you can actually see the calm at Coquette following hours of chaos earlier in the day. Our investigations team found out that Colomb apparently has a criminal history, including an act that he pled guilty to just 3 days ago out in Orange County. But for people that knew him, including the former manager at Coquette, as well as a different management group, they are simply stunned. Among the Friday night rush at North Hills Shopping Center, a stillness and silence inside Coquette. Just minutes before opening for the day, this popular French restaurant turned into a crime scene.
Coquette, the shooter's going to be in Coquette.
With investigators identifying the shooter as Coquette's executive chef, George Colomb. He has a criminal past according to findings from the WRAL Investigates team. Earlier this week, he pleaded guilty to misdemeanor leaving the scene of an accident in Orange County. These documents reveal he spent 40 months in federal prison after being convicted in January of 2011 of possessing a stolen firearm in New Mexico. Column's Facebook page shows photos of guns with evidence tags from the U.S. Department of Justice.
I am deeply sad.
That's Elizabeth Sharp, managing partner of Glendale Hospitality and Colum's former employer, where he spent up to 4 years as a sous chef.
He was planned to be the executive chef at the restaurant we opened most recently, Proximo, and we ended up parting ways. And as someone with a lot of professional potential and passion, who we had hoped would have a long and successful career with us, it is incredibly disheartening to see someone's life go sideways.
Now, we made numerous attempts to reach out to the owners of Coquette about this tragic event, and we're still waiting to hear it back. Now, from Ms. Sharp that you just heard from, she didn't explain exactly why she and this executive chef parted ways, but she did go on to say that she wished that people in emotional distress did not have access to guns. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And this is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. As we take a live look at North Hills right now, you can see that it has returned to as normal as it can be given the situation. We did hear earlier this afternoon from Kane Realty, the people who own North Hills and manage it, and they created a GoFundMe late today, and they say this is to help support the Coquette family. At last check, you can see it's raised more than $12,000. They say that the money is going to go to help offset the victims' funeral expenses, and also no one knows how long Coquette is going to be closed, so at least some of that money will go to help with employee wages there for the Coquette family.
Thank you, Brian. Store owners and people living in the North Hills area shared their experience with WRAL. One shop owner whose store is just 2 doors down from Coquette says he'll never forget the image of authorities taking away one of the victims. Many of those stores didn't reopen after the shooting, and the owners tell us their business took a hit. One woman who lives nearby told us about the moment she found out what happened.
So I got a text from my husband in India. He's in India, and heard about it. And I get a lot of texts about like robberies and things missing out of cars and stuff like that. But I heard it was an active shooting, and it was scary. It's like a block from my house, so I was a little nervous about it. I'm from New York originally, so I don't expect stuff like this to happen in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I wasn't very happy about it.
Several of those businesses at the shops at North Hills say they plan to open early tomorrow to make up for the business they lost tonight, and they'll never forget what happened. You can always count on WRAL to stay on top of breaking news. We sent this push alert to your phone at 11:16 this morning, alerting you of the shooting. Make sure you have your app and you're signed up for push alerts. We'll have more live reports from North Hills later in this newscast.